Okay, we are going to start in child's pose. When you're ready, music will come on in a few moments if you're following along. And in your child's pose, we'll connect the big toes and give the knees some room, so space between, and the arms and the head just resting down on the ground. And in the spirit of this impending holiday that we have, give your mind a moment to shift toward something that you're grateful for right now. And just notice the residual effect in your body, in your mind, with your energy, when you let your mind shift towards gratitude, thankfulness. If you're anything like me, my thoughts often go toward what needs to be fixed in life, what could be better, what am I working towards? It holds such a different weight when we can focus on what we have, where we are, what it is that's currently filling us up. Let yourself steep into that emotion. Let it act like gasoline, like fuel for your body and for your heart. And take a very slow, very rich, intentional breath in. And same with your exhale, very slow, thoughtful, intentional. So we're breathing with awareness, a slow, even inhale. A long, complete exhale. Deep breath in. Full breath out. And one more time, fill all the way up to the base of your lungs. And let it empty all the way. And as you inhale, rise up to your tabletop shape, finding hands and knees. Draw the shins to parallel one another and place the wrists beneath your shoulders. And if you are following along with tunes, now would be a good time to hit play. As you inhale, sway your belly down to the ground and let your heart and your tailbone and your gaze rise up. And exhale, round through the spine and let your gaze drift inward toward your navel. Then breathe and lower the belly, cow pose. And exhale, round through the spine, cat pose. And keep going like this. So either shifting back and forth between these two extremes, or feel free to add on in any way, or shift in any way, or pause anywhere. So it becomes more about this exploration of your body and less about getting it right. Let's meet back in a neutral spine. And just kick your left toes over to the left like a kickstand. Step your right foot to the back of your mat as you raise your right arm all the way up to the sky. In this modified side plank. And then just make some big floppy circles with this right arm. Just move it all the way around in one direction. Trying not to control it. Just really bringing in a little bit of moisture into that right joint. Right shoulder joint. And then we'll switch it around a few circles the opposite way. And then take the right arm, straighten it all the way back up to the sky, and let the right arm fall backwards. So just getting a little more exposure through the heart and the belly and the hips. A full breath into the front side of the body. And as you exhale, thread the needle, place both knees to the mat, and weave your right arm underneath your left arm. So we're down on the right shoulder. And we're going to be here for a few moments. So take the left hand and interlace it with the right hand on the ground. And then try to straighten out through that top arm. So imagine your upper back getting flush with the wall behind you. So you can hopefully create a little more sensation in the upper back and shoulders. And keep this rotation in the spine, this thread of your needle. Release the grip of the hands and send your left arm all the way up to the ceiling. And then spin the hand to face behind you and let the back of the hand come to rest near your lower back or your right hip crease. Press down into your right shin on the floor and see if you can step your left toes to the very back of your mat. Press firmly into your right arm and into your right shin, and perhaps with steady eyes, you'll start to float your left foot up and away from the earth. And if you roll backwards onto your back, no biggie. Laugh it off and try to come back. Now, if your leg is in the air, let it be a super slow release back to the ground. Release the left hand, put it back in front of your nose, and then inhale to come up to tabletop. As you exhale, right into cat pose, round through the spine. And sway the belly down, inhale, cow pose, let your heart billow forward. And then neutralize the spine and send your right shin off to the right. Step your left foot backwards as you raise your left arm up to the sky. And then some big floppy circles. If you follow me on Instagram, you happen to see my post. We've got some bird poses all month for this turkey month. Let's reverse it a few the other way. And it just so happens that a few of them have some pretty big shoulder openers involved. So we're just lubricating these joints, getting them to spruce up. Keep this left arm stacked above the shoulder. Let the fingers fall behind you as you roll your heart skyward. And as you do that, notice if the right shoulder starts to cave in, and we're still trying to draw the right shoulder, the bottom shoulder down the back. Give yourself a moment to breathe. As you exhale, both knees to the mat, weave your left arm beneath your right arm, twist to the right. Press into that right hand on the floor to help you rotate. And then as you're ready, interlace the right hand with your left hand. Straighten out through that top elbow. And think of driving the right shoulder backwards in space. Now again, we're here for just a few more moments. Working a little bit of balance and a different opening for the shoulder. As you release the interlace of the right hand, send the right arm up to the sky. Rotate the hand behind you, so from that right shoulder socket, and then half bind. Place the back of the hand to the low back or the left hip. This could be right where you stay, or we're adding a little balance by stepping your right toes to the back of the mat. And your core is going to go back for you here. So press into that left arm, press into that left shin. And as you press down, see if that can create more buoyancy for that right leg. Maybe it floats. That right leg is alive. Super steady eyes, not in a rush as you release the right knee back down to the earth. Set the right fingertips back in front of your nose. Unwind on the inhale, find your tabletop. Round the spine as you breathe out. Sway the belly down, inhale, pause here in your cow pose. Keep the hips over the knees. Make a really big step forward with the hands and let your chest melt to the ground, puppy pose. Your eyes can shift forward to your thumbs, or they can be downward. And keeping the arms extended, slide forward and down to the belly. So right to Sphinx, you might need to lengthen the legs out a little more behind you. And try to keep the elbows pressing right beneath the shoulders. Drag your elbows toward the back of the mat, almost like you're trying to drag your body forward on the ground. And let your eyes stay forward. Locate the breath again so it starts to become, in every single pose, the foundation, what everything is built on. A supportive cushion for you to rest against. So staying popped up on the elbows. I'm gonna pull my sleeves up here. Tuck your toes under behind you. Lengthen out through the legs, and as you lift your hips up and away from the ground, immediately try to take the sway out of the low back. Scoop your tailbone down and back toward your heels. As you breathe in, tiptoe the feet forward, lift your hips into the sky, look backwards at your feet. And then exhale, tiptoe the feet backwards and land back in your forearm plank. Nice strong belly. And then lead from that low belly, kick the hips up, inhale, walk your feet forward. And then exhale, walk your feet back, forearm plank. Again, inhale, tiptoe it forward. Hips go high, relax the head and look back. Find that stretch in the hamstrings. And then step it back as you breathe out, back to your forearm plank. One more for good measure. Inhale, tiptoe the feet forward. Dolphin pose. And exhale, tiptoe it back. Forearm plank, give yourself a moment to breathe in. Then down to the belly as you breathe out. Uncurl the toes, slip the hands back. Now they're where your elbows just were, and your elbows point to the sky. Cobra as you breathe in, pick up the heart, let it shine forward. And then down dog, tuck the toes, and send your hips all the way up and back. And give yourself a few moments to breathe here in your down dog, whether that's pedaling in the legs, finding stillness. All fair game as you explore. And a breath in, look forward toward your hands. Then exhale, step your feet forward all the way up to meet them. Let the feet come to hip width distance and breathe in, halfway lift, elongate through the spine. Breathe out as you forward fold over your legs. Inhale, rise up to stand, sweeping your arms overhead. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand and side bend over to the right. Inhale, return to the middle, swap out the grip, and exhale, take a lean to your left. Press your hips to the right, roll your heart skyward. And again, breathe in, arrive back at center. Release the wrist, exhale, dive forward over the legs. Stay folding forward, interlace the hands behind your lower back. Stretch your knuckles backwards, lengthen the inner elbows, and try to pick the shoulder heads up and away from the ears. Now put an even deeper bend in your right knee, swing your knuckles over to the right, and move your heart open to the left. As you inhale, return to center, swing back through the middle. Exhale, bend the left knee, knuckles go over to the left, heart blossoms open to the right. Shrug the shoulders down and out of the ears. As you come back to the center, release the hands all the way down over the legs, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant the palms to the earth, high plank position, step backwards. Hold here. Think of your thumbs pulling toward each other without actually moving the hands. And can that turn on the chest a little bit more? And then at the same time, think of the heels of your hands pulling back toward your toes and your toes pulling forward to your hands. And if you're anything like me, that makes my body shake immediately. Quivers. It's crazy, the power of the mind, how just thinking of something can create a physical reaction. Think of how powerful it is to always think of the worst case scenario. Guilty on my part. Maybe when we shift our mind once again toward gratitude, a different effect, right? Different reaction, different physical response. Let's live in that together. Take a breath in and rock to your tiptoes. Hug your elbows in and exhale, come all the way down to meet the belly. Untuck the toes, inhale, wind back up in cobra, maybe up dog. Arms long, hips and thighs cover. When exhale, tilt your hips to the sky, back to down dog. Inhale your right leg to the sky. Stack your hips, bend your right knee and open up through that right side. And then sink the shoulders into their sockets. Elongate the sides of the neck. Inhale, straighten the right leg, square through the hip, look forward, and place your right foot to the outside of the right hand. Do a wider stance, your right toes can turn slightly to the right. Press your left thigh backwards so your rear leg is getting super long and strong. And then stretch the heart forward. You can always do this on the finger pads as well, especially if you have some non-enjoyment and wrist-bearing spaces. Now your left foot is just going to mirror the right. So take as many steps as you need to bring that left foot to the outside of the left hand. Bend into both knees. As your hips sink into Malasana, let the hands unite at the heart. And the elbows could always be on the thighs. Your hips could always be a little higher in that catcher stance. If your knee flexion's not having it today. Touch your fingertips down to the ground. Sail your hips up to the sky and move your feet back beneath your body, parallel to each other. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, your arms overhead, rising up. Capture the left wrist. Exhale, lean to the right. Through center as you breathe in. Switch it up. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale through the middle. Exhale, dive forward over your legs. Soft bend to the knees. Take the hands behind you, and this time when you lace the fingers, put the opposite thumb on top. You can remember which. Lengthen out through the arms. Bend your right knee. Inhale, open your chest up to the left. And then exhale, slide back through the middle. Hands stay laced. Bend your left knee. Inhale, open up to the right. Exhale, fold forward and release your fingers down to the ground. Halfway to breathe in, elongate. Exhale, plant the palms, high plank position, step backwards. Take your feet together in this plank, big toes touch. Swivel the heels off to the right. Inhale, lift the left arm. You can always take that bottom knee back down to the ground, like how we started class. Otherwise, the legs are active, your feet are flexing, toes are awake. And then a super soft landing of your left hand back to the ground. It's so quiet, so gentle. Heels to the left. Inhale, lift the right arm. Rather than shifting your hips so high to the sky, you lose the alignment of that left arm. Try to really keep that left shoulder stacked right on top of the wrist. Your right hip rolling to the center of the mat. Liven up the feet. Take a moment to breathe in. And exhale, soft landing of that right hand. You could go right to down dog or shift forward as you lower halfway or to the belly. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, take your hips up and back to down dog. Inhale your left leg up and back. Stack your hips, bend your knee, open up that left side. And as you straighten out through the left leg, square through the hip, then step the left foot quietly to the outside of the left hand. Press the right heel back. You might rise to the finger pads. And then there's that simultaneous action of your chest moving forward. So think nice and broad through those collars. Notice the breathing. This right foot's gonna mirror the left. So again, we're nice and light with all our movements. Step the right foot quietly to the outside of the right hand. Bend into the knees. Back to Malasana, hands together. Keep using your elbows to press the knees apart. So that means elbows stay on the inside of the legs. Move the right fingertips off to the right. Inhale, lift your left arm and rotate open to the left. As you come back to the center, let the hands come together at the heart once more. Snuggle the elbows up. Left fingertips angle over to the left. Inhale, thread your right arm open on the diagonal. As you let your hands come back through the middle one more time, take a moment just to breathe in. Exhale, fold over the legs and draw the feet back beneath you. Hip distance. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, fold forward. And bring it on up. Inhale, rise to stand. And let's move a little bit. Exhale, dive forward over the legs. Inhale, halfway, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, chaturanga, step or hop back. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale to down dog. As you breathe in, look forward. Exhale, step or hop the feet wide, right back to Vinyasa. Bend the knees, breath in, hands together. Exhale, fold forward. Feet back beneath you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, your arms overhead, rising up. Maybe you stretch just a little further back. Open that front body. Exhale, dive over the legs, hinging out of the hips. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, down dog. Full deep breath in. Look forward, exhale, step or hop the feet wide. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, take the bow. Move the feet in. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe in, rise all the way. Exhale, dive back down. Final flow like this. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Breathe into your back bend. Exhale, the hips high. One full breath. And looking forward, exhale. Take the feet to the outside of the hands, palms together. We're back in that open diagonal twist. Right arm to the right, left arm high. Now, we might take a bind here. I'll show you from this direction. This bottom right shoulder, it's right for me, should be right for you, slides down toward the inside of the knee. Spin the hands behind you, so internal rotation. Bend the elbows, and the hands might find each other behind your right hip. If they don't, you could hang on to clothing. You could just bind that top left arm, or you could stay in that open twist. Up to you. So if we're finding the grip of the hands difficult, it could be for a variety of reasons. One, shoulders just being tight, and that's normal. Let's release the hands, bring the palms back together on a breath in. And then exhale, twist, left arm to the left, right arm high. But the other reason that could be hard to grip the hands is because we're one, not getting the shoulder closer to the knee, and two, we're not rolling inward from that shoulder socket to wrap around. Once we do that, that creates a little more room in the joint to move around that leg. Don't get caught up in the semantics of it. Loose using of the word, but use of the word. So whatever variation works here works. No stress on what it looks like. If the hands are bound in any capacity, release the bind, take the hands back together in Malasana. Just here for a moment to breathe in. And then exhale, fold forward and let the hips come back to neutral and the feet come back to hip distance in the front of your space. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen the spine and hold this half lift. Step the hands up and onto the hips, elbows to the sky as you rise up to stand. Let the hands rather guide the hips forward and then puff your chest a little more to the sky. And inhale, gaze forward, straighten out the spine. Exhale, fold forward, tugging the hips back. Release the fingers down. Inhale, halfway, lengthen it out. Keep the right foot where it is. Step your left foot backwards. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. High lunge. As you exhale, spin the left heel flat and turn open to the left into warrior two. We'll take the arms to this big T shape. And sink down into that right knee until you feel your legs really start to liven up. There's a lot of color and vibrancy to the experience in the pose. Our legs are gonna stay exactly the same the whole time. It's really just our upper body doing the movement. So as you face your right palm up to the sky, inhale, reverse all the way toward the back of the mat. Keep that bend in the front knee. Exhale, take the right elbow to the top of the thigh, and now circle the left arm all the way forward, side angle. And do that again, legs stay the same. Inhale, rise up and reverse to the upper body. Exhale, take your right elbow to your thigh, left arm swims forward. Let's take that just one more time. Inhale, rise up, reach back. Exhale, take it forward, side angle. And now this left arm, we're gonna take that same bind we've been practicing. So as you lift your left arm up, from the shoulder socket, roll it inward. So your palm faces backward, bend at the elbow, and your back of the hand might come onto the low back. The fingers might start to wiggle in toward that thigh or hip. And we're sinking into that front knee, even though your legs might be asking you not to. I've been super into getting back into some indoor cycling because my boyfriend Zach has a Peloton. So Robin's always been my favorite if you know her. She said the other day on my ride, self-care isn't always a bubble bath. Self-care sometimes is self-discipline. I was like, dang girl, you're right. And even in yoga, right? Even in yoga, can building strength in the body be self-care? I think so. And I think we're doing it right now. If the left arm is bound, release it. Stretch it all the way to the sky. Here comes the sweet release. As you rise up, straighten the front leg. Ooh, inhale, stretch back and elongate that right side body. Exhale, bend the right knee, cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Let's take a big step forward. Left foot joins the right foot. Inhale, halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Ooh, draw the heart forward. Now, even if you have to bend your knees, that's okay. So fingers are propped to the ground, spine is long. Let the weight be in the left foot. Inhale, take your right leg straight up behind you. Now, the right hip is trying to stay square. So right hip bone to the floor. Chest continues to move forward. It's okay if that bottom left leg is a little bit bent. Take your left thumb up to your heart. This could be where you stay, or the right palm will meet the left palm. And then we're trying to lift out of that left hip crease, up through the low belly and into your warrior 3. Keep hinging forward. Keep flexing that back left leg and ankle. As you step your right toes all the way to the very back of the mat, come into high lunge. Take a full inhale, stretch your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Set your back right knee onto the ground, and then take your front left foot and stretch it back. Hands right beneath the shoulders. So we've got our right shin on the ground, our left leg in the air. Option to send the right arm forward. Option to capture your back left toes with the right hand and sail those suckers straight up to the sky. Okay, if you're listening along with the playlist right now, my obsession with this band Big Wild, I'm like years late to the game. Years, but I'm so deeply obsessed with this album, I can't quit. My life is a dance party. Use your inhale to straighten your arms, straighten your leg just for a moment. Exhale, replace the right hand back beneath the shoulder. Pull your left knee into your chest. Step the left foot through between the hands. Tuck the right toes, lift the knee, and quarter spin over to the right. Parallel the feet to one another. Take the hands under the hips and inhale, rise all the way up. Take your arms to a big T. Right arm underneath the left, eagle wings. Inhale, pick up the elbows. Exhale, fold over the legs and let the forearms dangle to the ground. So if your forearms can easily touch the ground right now, narrow your stance so that the arms can truly dangle with gravity. If you're folding forward, or you are folding forward, if your arms are still clasped, release them. Hop up to the fingertips and lengthen out halfway as you breathe in. Look to the front of your mat. Exhale, pivot forward and step forward. So both feet to the front. Big toes touch, bend your knees, sink your hips back. Inhale, lift your arms up and overhead. Bend at your elbows, catch opposite triceps and pull up on the skin, but soften down through the shoulders. Angle the hips backwards, the weight into the heels, and the forearms back in space. Stay low through the hips. Inhale, straighten out through the arms, reach up through the fingers. Exhale, dive forward over the legs. Come halfway up as you breathe in, lengthen out through the spine. This left foot stays where it is. Tap the fingers down, exhale your right foot backwards. High lunge, inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, pivot open to the right, warrior two. Virabhadrasana B. So all 5 left toes point forward. All 5 right toes are turning to the long edge of your mat that you see. And then your arms are awake, like if I were to come put little baby pumpkins on your wrists, tis the season. They can hold those little guys up. They're strong, they're supported, they're stable. If you know your tendency is for that front knee to collapse inward, so typically if you have tighter in your thighs, tighter hips, really work to press this left knee wide. Maintain that. Face your left palm to the sky. Inhale, stretch back and reverse. Exhale, take your left elbow to the left thigh and swing the right arm all the way forward. Palm facing the ground. Keep those legs. Inhale, rise up, stretch back, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Again, one more time. Inhale, rise up and stretch back. Keeping the legs, exhale, side angle, take it forward. Now we're just taking the half bind. So as you lift your right arm up, it comes from the shoulder socket. Roll your thumb forward and then all the way back behind you. Bend at the elbow and take that half rep. Keep bending into that front knee, even if your legs say no. Can your mind have enough resilience and determination to gently press back? To say that strength is sexy, and strength is caring, and strength is sometimes necessary to get through whatever it is we're getting through. It starts physically, it moves mentally, and it affects everything energetically. Feel your feet rooting into the floor, pulling the mat apart. Grip down into the heels. You're still here. I don't want to cheat you on your left side. Sometimes I feel I do. So we'll stay. Stay another moment. My legs are shaking. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. Not in a rush. Release that top right arm first. Send it up to the sky. Sometimes that can be a little surprising on the shoulder. And now here we go. Sweet relief. Rise up. Straighten that front leg. Inhale. Reverse. Ooh, yowzers. As you bend the front knee, cartwheel your hands down to the front of the mat. Big step forward. Right foot joins your left foot. Now, pop up to the fingertips, even if you have to bend the knees. So the spine is nice and long. We're not rounded here. Elongate and root the weight into the right foot. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Spent a lot of time on that left leg, so it might feel like it's really floating in the air, at least it does for me. Point your left baby toe to the ground. And as you continue to press back through the left heel, stretch the heart forward. Focus through your eyes and take your right thumb up toward your heart. Now, you're probably in a deep flexion of that right hip. So if you're going for the balance, left hand joins, then we're gonna lift out of that right hip. Lost my balance. Keep leaning the chest forward, but suction your low belly up and off that right thigh. It might even come with a little more elongation of that right leg. Back leg, strong and straight. Notice your breathing, notice your gaze. And then soften that right knee, take a big step back, lightly onto the left toes. Inhale, reach the arms up, high lunge, just for a moment. Then exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Soften your left knee onto the floor. Take your front right leg, sweep it back, hover above the ground, and put the hands under the shoulders. If and when you're ready, send the left arm forward. If and when you're ready, take hold of those right toes behind you. Lift those guys up and press the foot back into the hands so you get a little more exposure for your heart. Nice steady eyes. If you have your back toes, take an inhale just to straighten the arm and straighten the leg. As you exhale, put your left hand back beneath your shoulder. Tuck your right knee to your chest. Round the spine and step your right foot through. Then tuck your back toes, lift your knee. Corner turn to the left. Parallel the feet to one another. Take the hands to the hips and rise up. Now, if you know your hamstrings are feeling a little more open and you need to shorten the stance a little, you could narrow. Arms to a T as you breathe in. Then exhale the left arm beneath the right arm. Lift the elbows on the inhale. Then from the hips again, we're trying not to round the spine, but a nice straight spine as we start to fold forward and let the arms dangle down. And if the arms are easily touching the floor, scoot the feet even closer together. See if you can create that broadening in the upper back, and then the back of the shoulders. Continue to fold, release the fingers, release the arms. Inhale, pop up and lengthen out through the spine. So pop up to the finger pads. Then look to the front of the mat, pivot forward, step forward, left foot joins the right foot. Feet come together as you bend your knees, sink the hips, and inhale to stretch the arms up to chair. Now, as you bend your elbows and find opposite elbows again, you might find it's more natural to put one arm on top than the other. So just again, try to switch it around, create something that's a little funkier. Soften the shoulders, scoot the buns back, but tug your elbows upward. Let your fingers go to work on the skin, pulling up. Nice and heavy through the heels and light through the toes. Stay low. Inhale, stretch the arms all the way up, full chair. Exhale, dive over the legs. Inhale, halfway, lengthen out. Exhale, chaturanga or step to down dog. You choose. Breathe in. Exhale. Right leg high, take a breath. Exhale, step your right foot forward. High lunge, inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, warrior two, spin to the left. Keep the front leg bent, inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle, send the left arm all the way forward. Now option one, stay here. Option two, wrap that left hand behind, again, rotating inward from the shoulder socket. Option three, the right hand could come to the floor on the inside of the foot, or if the shoulder scoots close enough to the inside of that knee, you could roll the shoulder inward again, see if you can clasp hands behind you. Sometimes pushing the butt back and leaning forward makes it easier to take that grip. But I want you to think of leaning your upper back into the wall behind you, swing your hips into the center of your mat. And yes, that will probably mean more self-care for that right leg. Now, you could stay or look to your right big toe. Take as many steps as you need to draw the left foot forward to the front of the mat. All 10 toes point forward. Snuggle your bind up. Look down, lean into your left foot and pop to the right tiptoes. And maybe as you press the ground away from you through that left foot, your right knee will start to rise up, bird of paradise. Like forever in my life, probably till I die, it will remain so ridiculously hard for me to straighten that right leg. So I'm not gonna do it. But if you would like to do that, please do. All right, the trick is we're gonna try to keep this bind in place as you bend your left knee and replace your right foot on the ground. And we're gonna try to keep this bind in place as you look down and step the left foot back into your side angle legs. And then keep the legs as you unwind the arms. Side angle, if you've been in side angle this whole time, you deserve a trophy. We're rising all the way up, straighten that front leg. Ooh, inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Step backwards, high plank position. Choose your journey back to down dog. It might include a chaturanga. It might include a brief moment in child's pose. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise up to high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Keep that front leg bent. Inhale, reverse your warrior, stretch back. And exhale, take your left elbow to the top of the thigh, right arm sweeps forward. So many options from here. One being to stay, breathe, commit to the strength building in your legs. Two, half bind the right arm behind you. Three, dip the left shoulder to the inside of the knee, full bind. Must create that rotation of the shoulders inward. Swing the hips in, lean the upper body back. Four. Let's see how many times we can add numbers. Look to your left big toe. Step the right foot forward. All 10 toes point forward and then readjust, snuggle up the bind. Hop to your left tiptoes, look out in front of you. Press the ground away from you through that right leg. Utilize your glute to rise up to bird of paradise, which I'm still not sure is a bird. It might just be a flower, but I'm sure the flower is named after the bird. Either way, birds of the month. Now we're reversing the pathway. So trying to maintain the bind as you lightly lower the left foot. As you look down and lightly step the right foot back. Then unravel the arms, full side angle, breathe in. Exhale, rise up. Straighten the front leg. Take a full inhale to stretch back. And then exhale. Windmill the hands down. Place your right knee onto the floor. Slide your left knee back to meet it. Have a seat on the heels, but lift the torso. So we're upright. Let the shoulders roll back a few times. Forward a few times, any neck rolls you need. And then lift your hips off your heels and take your feet and your knees to hip distance. So we're just setting up for camel. It's gonna be a little baby camel. Take your thumbs to the back side of the pelvis, your fingertips around your waist. And use your thumbs to manually drag the back of the pelvis down to this posterior tilt, the frontal hip points lifting up. Now focus on the upper back, and as you hug your elbows backwards, puff your chest up to the sky and think of the shoulder blades wrapping up and in to support your heart. Back of the pelvis still dragging down. And your eyes can start to look upward. If you're like, you know what, I'm feeling really great in this camel, feel free to take it to a variation that works for you right now today. Otherwise, I'm just gonna stay right here with hands on my hips. This kind of puffing of the heart and rolling back in the shoulders. That's what I'm focusing on. We're gonna stay symmetrical as we rise up. So as you breathe in, unwind and take the gaze forward. And then have a seat back on the heels and relax. Sometimes it can be easier to get out of that pose by kind of rotating out of it and turning. But when we create that with a back bend, with extension of the spine, sometimes can be a recipe for disaster. So anytime we go back and forward in this, we want to stay in this plane of motion, forward, back. Okay, we'll take one more back bend in this practice. So if you're dying for something on your back, a bridge, a wheel, if you're dying for something on your belly, a bow pose or a locust, feel free to change. Otherwise, I'm going to stick right with camel. So as you rise back up, if you're following along here, knees and feet hip distance, hands to the hips. Again, there's that drag of the back of your pelvis down, suctioning of the elbows back, and this billowing of your heart up to the sky. So there's extension in the upper back. There will certainly be extension in the lower back. And if it's available right now, you might tuck your toes to reach back for your heels. Your gaze might go backwards. Your breath is strong, supportive. And trying to stay symmetrical as you breathe in. Rise back up, straighten the spine, look forward. Exhale, sit back on the heels. Swing your hips off to one side. Kick the legs forward. And let's lay down. Oh, once you're on your back, you can tuck the knees in, give yourself a gentle rock left to right. And take your arms out to the sides and lower your knees off to the right into a twist. If you want those eagle legs to match the arms we did earlier, or you want to straighten out the top leg, feel free to adjust to what works. What feels good. Inhale to come back to center. Let's switch it up, knees to the left. And let your inhale be what moves you back to center. Or either one last squeeze of the knees, or maybe a happy baby, or even Supta Baddha Konasana. Now you're free again to adjust as you wish and counter as you wish. And eventually, we'll make our way toward Shavasana. That's making conscious effort of slipping the shoulders out of the ears. And taking any effort out of the whole body. Even the expression in your face. Even the angle of your feet. As you drift off into this final space for rest, consider just allowing your body to be, or perhaps even utilizing this time to create even more gratitude in your mind. This running list of what it is that's making your heart come alive, making you happy to be exactly where you are. you start to breathe more fully again. Consider even gratitude for the simplest of things, our breath. It will never cease to amaze me how the body just knows to breathe. It just happens. But we also have the ability to shape it, to utilize it for our energy, for our own bright light and aliveness. As the breath continues to deepen into the body, let the rest of your limbs start to wake up. Bend your knees and pick a side to roll towards. And as you rise up to your seat, let your hands gather at the heart and your forehead bow in their direction. Bowing as we do every time in gratitude, amazement of this practice, of each other, continuously show up, even when it's hard. I bow to you with deep honor and deep, deep gratitude. Namaste. There will be more gratitude, more birds to come. If you were planning to come to the Sea Change Collective this week in 2 days, unfortunately, Laura, our guest speaker, has had some health issues that popped up that were not great. And so we are postponing until December 9th. So I hope that perhaps allows you to now attend if you couldn't. And that is all. I will see you next week for the Turkey Week. Crows, pigeons, all the birds. Bye.